Hello everyone, I'm Tay and this is David. We are with Pixel Pro Audio, your source for professional audio gear. We are back for part 2 of our walkthrough and demo of the Novation Circuit Tracks.
In part 1, if you haven't seen that yet, click here, go watch that first. I walked through all the controls and I even made my own song using the circuit tracks.
Yes, you did. So if you've already decided to order this, click the link below to do that. If you're still undecided, pressure's on. It's my turn now. Here we go. I'm going to jump into the circuit tracks now to showcase some of the more customizable features of this groove box, including adding my own external synth to it and other things. But first, I want to introduce you to Novation Components. Components is the online Novation hub. You can exchange sound packs, create your own synth sounds, update to the latest firmware, just kind of manage everything with your Novation devices. So let's take a look at that first. I want to show you how to upload your own sound samples and exchange packs back and forth. So let's start out here on the computer. This is the Novation Components home screen. You can clearly select all of these products here, but we're going to be working with the circuit tracks. So after you've already logged into your account or make an account, you can come here and click the appropriate piece of gear you have. So we have circuit tracks here, so I'm going to click that. When you first get here, you're going to see the factory pack already over here on the left. I've taken the liberty of already making my own pack, and that is a pack I can send to the circuit, and that can have a number of things, and we'll get to that in a second. But if you want to make your own new pack, you can go right here and click New Pack. Otherwise, if you jump into creating a synth sound right away and you want to save that, you can also save it to a new pack right there and then. So that's another way to do it. But let's go into my pack that I have created already. And now you'll see here projects, samples, and patches. Projects is empty because I haven't created any kind of songs or anything yet. Coming over here to samples, I already have uploaded some drum sample sounds. I want to add another one here, but these are drum sample sounds that we actually recorded here at Pixel Pro Audio, and I wanted to use my own custom drum sounds. So we have uploaded some of these. Here's a kick, and here are the toms, and the snare. And you obviously can preview them by clicking it. But I want to add another snare sound here. There's 2 options I have, and I only have one in here, so I'm going to add another one. So I'm going to click the appropriate box that I want it to go to. So I click that, and then I go over here to the right, and I click Upload. That will bring up a window, and then you just find your file locally on your own computer. This one is going to be the Snare 4. So I'm going to click Open, and it will populate the square that I have selected for it. This will be the destination that it will be on. And you can actually click and drag this to any other square, any other position that you want. But right now I want it here. I kind of wanted the kick and toms up top and then any snare. I don't have any hi-hat sounds, but this is where I would put them. And then I have this chimes here just because it's fun. But you can put anything you want anywhere. Now that I have everything in place here, this is how I want it on the sample page. I want to hit save to make sure that I don't lose this, so it's going to save the pack. All right, now I'm ready to go over to patches. And patches is a place where you can develop your own synth sounds. And I have already created 2, and I want to show you how to do a 3rd we'll use in the song coming up here that I'll create. But I want to put it here eventually, but first I need to go up to this tab here, the synth tab, and when I click on that, I'm going to get this. It's going to say either get patch from circuit tracks, create patch, or upload patch. What I want to create my own patch here. And this is going to bring up this UI, main, effects, and modulation. Back on the main though, I'm going to use the circuit tracks by hitting some of the pads here to create a sound. I'm going to take that sound and make it into something that I would like to use and save. And you can bounce around from the oscillators to the filters to the envelopes to the LFOs. All that stuff can be changed here. So let's start out and try to get something cool. All right, that's enough messing around. This is the kind of sound I came up with. it's gonna be perfect. All right, so to save this, I want to save, and I want to save as, let's try ping 3. And I want to select the pack into Tay's pack. That way it will save to my patch. Okay, so I'm gonna click save. Okay, once that happens, let's go back to packs, and I'm going to click on my pack. And there it is, ping 3 under the patch tab. Let's say I'm all done. I've got all the patches I want, and I've added all the samples I want to this pack. I don't have any projects in there yet, but I wanted to send this to the Circuit Tracks. Now, the Circuit Tracks has a micro SD in the back, and that is where this information is going to be stored. So I'm going to send to Circuit Tracks, and I'm going to click that. It's going to have a couple options here: send the whole pack, send projects, send samples, send patches. I'm going to send the whole pack over, so I click that, and now I have a window that pops up, send pack to Circuit Tracks. I have some selections. I can put up to 32 packs on here, which is crazy. Here is the Circuit Tracks factory pack. Here's my current pack that's on the SD card, and I had done another factory pack here, but ignore that. I'm going to select Tay's pack and overwrite that. This will take just a little bit, so sit back, relax, take a break, listen to some music, get some inspiration, whatever you want to do. When you look at the Circuit Tracks, you can see that it is transferring the data, and obviously when it's done, there will be an indication of that as well. All right, that's a quick overview of Novation Components, where you can transfer data to the Circuit Tracks or any other Novation product that you have. If there's any cool tricks or things you've learned or ideas we should try, leave us a comment below and let us know what that is. All right, let's move on to the Circuit Tracks. All right, let's get this song rolling. But first, I want to show you what we did in Components here on the Circuit Tracks Shift and Packs. And you're going to see 3 lights here. These red ones are actually the factory packs that were already there. I showed you before. And this middle one, the white one, is the custom Tay pack, right? So if you click the pack you want and you hit the play button, it's going to load it in from the SD card. That's the default one. So. Okay, but we don't want that. We want the one we loaded in that I made. So I'm gonna hit the second one and push play, and it's going to populate and load in. So now we got that. And now I just like to go to patterns or mixer to start out here. But I'm gonna be using the drums, all 4 drum tracks. I'm gonna be using at least 1 synth, and then MIDI. I'll show you that in a minute here. So let's lay down some drums first. I'm going to use the drum samples that we had preloaded in. So I'm going to hit drum 1, and now in the bank down here should be the preloaded samples. Yep. Okay. So I'm just going to use the kick drum, and I'm going to put in 4 kick drums. Okay, pretty simple. And then drum 2 I'm going to assign for my snare drum, and here they are. And I'm gonna put in, let's see, 1 there, and I'm gonna do the louder one there. There we go. Maybe we'll, there we go. Turn up the effects button, give it a little more attack. All right, drum 3 is gonna be my hi-hat sound, which I don't have in the sample pack, but I'm gonna come back to that in a second here and show you what I want to do with that. But we're going to jump over to drum channel 4. Drum track 4 is going to be my toms. I'm going to do a little fill here, and I'm going to place these in, and then I'm going to show you how I want to manipulate those so my drum track is a little more interesting. So first I'm going to put in the toms. This is what it sounds like now. Okay, I want to take that fill here that's in the last 8 steps of this 16-step sequence. I want to make that at the very, very end of a longer, drawn-out step sequence. What I can do is go over here to pattern settings. And this bar right here, the one highlighted in yellow, actually stretches out that 16-step sequence to either be really short or really, really long. I will demonstrate that now with the toms. So that's just straight up. If I go really fast, Okay, that's too fast. So we were here, so let's go back a little bit. Let's try this one, the very, very first one. Okay, so that's too long. I'm gonna try this. Okay, but within this now, I'm gonna use the microstep feature to take this drum fill and squish it down to this half, and essentially making it longer, but I'm gonna crunch that drum beat at the end. So what I'm gonna do is actually delete the drums here, and I'm going to place them. Okay, so what does that sound like? So what I want to do is actually put a micro step in there for each one. So I'm gonna click the first one, and I'm gonna add a micro step to there and here. And you can preview that by hitting it. Okay? And this one's just one. So I'm gonna add that micro step and add that. So this is what it sounds like. Okay, cool, right? So I'm going to go up to drum 4 now. I'm dealing with a 16-step sequence here, only this, but I want to double that. So boom, I doubled it. So now it's every one now. But I don't want it on the first half of that. So I'm in the blue, so that's good. So I'm gonna clear out these ones. So now it's gonna happen at the last 4. Now let's put that like hi-hat type of sound in here. So I have drum 3 channel selected, and I'm gonna use this, but I'm going to change it now. So I'm just gonna use some of these parameters up here to change the sound. Okay. Okay, that sounds good. I'm going to use now the click track feature here to add this to the song. So what I'm gonna do is go to Shift Click. Now there's a click track. Hear that? First I'm gonna move all the drums. Now it's just the click track. Now I can play along here. But first, I'm gonna show you this. If you click this note button over here, it's gonna give you these 4 pads, and these are your 4 drum channels. And if you've selected the drum sound to each one, you're gonna get a little mini pad here you can play with. So if you're really good and you wanna play on the pads, you can record yourself directly into the circuit tracks with the quantize mode and get just an organic drum sound if you like to play with the pads. Here's a good input method. So I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna play this, and I'm gonna input it and record quantize that in here. Okay, here we go. Okay, I like that, so let's hear them all together. Okay, so now that I have my drums set, and I love that, I wanted that fill way at the end of things, so creating that and stretching out this particular drum channel, that really works for me. So let's now input some instruments here. So synth 1, I'm going to hit preset to reveal all the presets you can choose from. I beforehand set number 3 to that ping sound. So I'm gonna use that. That's this one. And I also had the 2 preloaded ones in here from an earlier test, and that's those ones. So I'm gonna use 3. We only had 3 patches saved to my pack. These other ones actually give you a default synth sound. And you can use that if you like, if you decided you needed to fill in and you didn't have the sound you liked. But we're gonna go with number 3, that ping sound. If you click synth 1 again, now you're gonna reveal your your palette here where you wanna paint this. And you can always go up an octave or down. Okay, so what I want to do is kind of just generate some sort of low synth bass sound for this. So, okay, now I'm working with a 16-step pattern, so it's going to repeat really quickly. I think I want to, just keep it in the 16 steps right now. I'm gonna go ahead and take off the click track, and I'm also going to drop everything out. Maybe I'll keep the bass, the kick drum in here. Okay. Okay, I like that. So I'm gonna keep that. And now I'm going to move over to the MIDI channel 1 here. And what I've done with this is brought my, and you've been seeing it here for a little while, my Arturia Micro Freak, which I've plugged into this. I'm going to channel MIDI 1, and that is connected via MIDI to the Micro Freak. And I can get whatever sound is on this synth to come through and to eventually record onto the circuit tracks. So now when I go to just a generic one, that's the sound here, and I can play it here. You'll hear it. Same sound. I've developed a preset earlier, and I would recommend you guys do that too. Play around with it, see what you got. But I've got this little, I don't know, airy kind of sound. And that's over here now. So now I want to actually do a bit of like an airy flow over the top of this with this sound. So I'm on MIDI track 1. I'm going to automatically make it a 32-step sequence. So I'm going to hit that. Now I'm dealing with a longer session here. So let me just play this and put a little bit. Okay, I kind of like that, but I want to randomize this, and I'm going to use the Circuit Tracks mutate function to randomize the notes I just put in here. So let's first take out the synth 1, and I think I'm just gonna leave the kick drum in there. Okay. I like the first half actually, so I'm going to select the second half to be mutated. So if I click that and I click Shift Mutate, it's gonna completely randomize what notes are in this 16-step sequence. Now, I should have told you before I did it that this has no undo function, so be sure you want to do that. You can't go backwards, you can only go forwards. So let's play that and see if I like it. Okay, that seems kind of like a cool loop. So I'm going to leave it. We're gonna go to Mixer and add in everything else. So I'm gonna hit play. And what I'm noticing right away is that drum 3, that kind of like tom hit is too loud. So I'm gonna turn it down. And you can do that on this mixer window here. And the rotary knobs above the track indicates the volume adjustment. Okay, that's kind of crazy. Okay, the last part is what I'm calling song mode. And in this mixer window, these are all your tracks and you can mute them from this window. But down here, if you notice this green flashing button, and this green one is like basically saying you're playing everything, all these channels like you've been hearing and from start to finish, and then it just repeats. But fortunately with the circuit tracks, you can actually create more of these patterns here and link them together. So I'm gonna try to demonstrate that now. And what this will do is kind of give you the ability to create a song either on the fly or deliberately set up in a certain sequence. So you can perform a song or show a song off, and you can control that all right here with the circuit tracks. So mixer mode, you've got one green button. Now, I'm gonna do like an intro to this, so what I'm going to do is I'm gonna go back to patterns, and this patterns window is very, very cool because you can change things on each individual channel. So for instance, like let's say this snare drum one here, if I click this top row is the one I've been using, but if I click this one and I go back to drum 2, it's blank. So what that means is that you could add a different snare at weird spots. Okay. So now I've taken out the snare drum I had and I put in this new snare drum, and the pattern that I just did is here. So now if I go back to this one, it's back to where I had it. And you can now chain these two together like this, and this one will play, the original will play first, and then it will move on to this new one I just created, and then it'll go back. So it will go repeat itself. Now, you have the ability to add 8 different variations on each channel per instrument that you want. So you could go way down here, and let's try this one. Let's do another drum one, and then that's blank, and then we just do, wow. Let's just fill it in because then you can see. So now we go back to patterns, and now we have that selected. So let's now go, you have to, to chain them together, hit this one and then hit the ones you want to chain. Now this only works linearly, so this will only go this way. It can't bounce back and forth to ones. It will, like if you start with this one, you have to go to this one next. So we're gonna start with the original and move down to this very, very new one we haven't heard before. Let's see how that sounds. So you can see how crazy you can get and how in-depth you can get with this. So I'm going to clear this out. I don't like those. Going back to what I was talking about here, I'm going to create like a little song here, and basically how to demonstrate that is I'm going to keep adding, I'm going to add each instrument as we go along until we get to the final finished product, which is this. Okay, we're gonna do song mode, and that is basically where you can kind of set up different variations of the instruments you have in different ways to create a song or a project to your liking. The mixer mode, all of these are active, so they're unmuted. We're going back to patterns here, and in this top row, they're all lit up, and these are all the instruments that I've been playing for you. And then we went through how you can add different variations on those instrument channels, but we're sticking with this one. I just want to show you different progressions you can make. So, I don't have anything in this second row or any of the other rows. So what I'm gonna do, my first thing I want to do is have the synth one and the drum fill come in alone, and then I'm gonna add some more stuff. So I have deselected basically, because there's nothing here, there's no music or anything here in this second row. The only ones active are these two. So I'm gonna go back to mixer, and then I want to save that to this first one. So I'm going to push shift and then click that. Now when I hit play, okay. Now I want to introduce the kick drum. So I'm gonna go back to patterns. I'm gonna, the drum track 1 here, I'm gonna add in the existing kick drum. Go back to mixer, push shift and save, and now I've got 2 white ones here. So when I push this one to show you what we had, it will be green and it will repeat on itself until you select something else. So I'm going to actually hold that one and click the second one, and it's gonna go into that second pattern. Now it's glowing green, and it is playing this second one, which I've added the kick drum in. And now it will go back to the first one, unless I tell it to keep playing. Okay, so let's add some more here. So I'm gonna go back to patterns. I'm gonna add in the other synth I had, and yeah, let's do that one for now. Shift, save, back to patterns. We'll add in the hi-hat thing. Back to pattern, or back to mixer, shift, save, go back to patterns. Now we'll add in the snare drum to really kick things off. There's nothing on synth 2 and MIDI 2, so we can just leave that alone. Go back to mixer, shift, and save that last one. Now what I'm going to do is hold the first green button, and I'm going to add in all of them. So when I play that, it's going to move forward here and then repeat. Okay, so that's how that works. You can play, again, just like the patterns one where it goes downwards, this mixer one, the green goes over, so it works from left to right here. So you can't jump around, but you can sequence them like this, I guess. Put this one in next. And then you can go to this one. So that's how that works. I love the circuit tracks giving you infinite possibilities here. You have tons of options. Only with maybe these few drum tracks and synth tracks that I did, there's just so many different ways I can arrange them that can create really, really cool music. So I hope you liked what I did here and demonstrated. Of course, if you have any questions, please let us know. Or if we did something incorrect, or if you have suggestions for us, we love that too. I had so much fun messing around with this groove box. The more I did, the more I realized how powerful it actually is.
Absolutely. I learned a lot from just watching your video about components and all the cool stuff you can do with it. This thing definitely packs a punch. It sounds great right out of the box, and it's ready to make music.
There are some capabilities we didn't get to touch on here, but if you have any tips, tricks, or suggestions for us, please leave a comment below.
Yeah, while you're down there, letting us know what we missed on this. Give us a thumbs up on this video because it really helps the channel out.
Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll groove around the drum next time. Today, we have of our demo and walkthrough of the Novation Circuit Tracks. Take it away, David.
Yep. Sorry.
Today we have a walkthrough and demo of the Novation Circuit Tracks.
Demo?
No, not demo. Demo. Oh, we got it.
That's a lot more lame.
Dunzo.
Watch out, Hollywood.
Okay, that's it.